Become the person at your work who is known to pray for people. I'm not talking about just the idea that somebody tells you a burden, they lost a family member or something, and you reply to them, I'll pray for you. Text them back, I'll pray for you. That's great. I'm not minimizing that. That's great. But the truth is that lots and lots of people on our island, that word, those phrase comes out very commonly. I don't know if it's true or not, but they're going to say it very commonly. I want to actually encourage you to become the person at work who is known that you really do pray for them. And in fact, and some of you might feel a little bit nervous about this already, I'd like to encourage you to learn how to pray for them in the moment or in that setting. Just briefly, quickly, not awkwardly, always ask them, would you be okay if I prayed for you? And then just pray for them. Little bit, short, talk to God. Don't make it awkward for them. Now, it might be a little bit awkward as you do it. They may not have had somebody, but I'm telling you, you will do something to their soul and that says, hey, listen, this person's they're actually gonna pray. It is one of the simplest, easiest ways that you can share your faith at work. In fact, I can almost guarantee you this. If you will be known as a kind person who really cares and will pray for people, and then maybe, a few days later or a week later, you'll remember and you'll follow up. Hey, listen, what happened? I've been praying for this. Hey, listen, when life gets heavy and people's life begins to fall apart, they're not going to run to the fun guy. They're going to come to the praying guy. They're going to come to you. Your coworkers will come to you. If you could just say, hey, listen, how can I help? How can I be praying for you? And listen, let me tell you, it is way more effective than judging them. Way more effective than, making sure they know how much you disapprove of, how much they partied over the weekend. Become known as the prayer guy, the prayer lady. You'll find out that people will come to you when they're hurting. In your home, with your roommates, men, ladies, see if this might change something. Guys, listen, when your wife is out, maybe, I don't know how large your family is, but maybe it's kind of the girls out. They're out for an afternoon. Take your boy or your boys and try to think of something that you could do for them before they come back to let them know that you love them. Have your boy go in and make his sister's bed. Some of you sisters are like, don't you let him in my room. No, really, I'm serious. Maybe I'm talking to kids here, maybe even more than parents. Listen, if doing something kind for your brother or your sister feels incredibly awkward, like this is just not going to go very good, she's going to think I'm crazy, or I don't really want to do this, that's probably saying to you there's probably not a light of active kindness going on between you. And you're commanded to show love to those in your family in this way. Try to find something that would help your wife, something outside the normal everyday life, something that she'll notice when she comes back. Gary Chapman wrote a book a number of years ago called The 5 Love Languages. Faith and I, this book came out when Faith and I were just married a couple of years. We talk about it actually in our parenting class quite a bit, so it comes back for us quite a bit. How many of you are familiar with that book or the concept of the 5 love languages? Okay, yeah, it's pretty common, but maybe only 50%. That's actually a little surprising to me. There are 5 ways, according to Gary Chapman, I think this is very helpful. 5 ways of expressing love in action in ways that the person you're trying to tell them that you love them, in ways that they'll actually feel love. He calls them the 5 love languages. Basically, the idea is that we all respond differently to these love demonstrations. So there's kind of 5 ways to demonstrate our kindness. That's why I'm talking about it here. These are the ways, the applications of genuine agape love. I'll list them for you. You can apply it to your relationships, or it's marriage, or family, or brother, sister, or work, however you want to apply it. But let me just list them for you. Number 1 is encouraging words. Some people are just tuned in to encouraging words. If you say something like, hey, listen, you're such a compassionate person, I need to learn from you. I mean, that's just so powerful to them. Usually, we say something like, hey, you're too emotional. When we come at this with words that affirm and encourage, write a note, an actual note. For some people, there's no greater way to express love than by words of legitimate, heartfelt praise and affirmation. Number 2 is acts of service. Do something special that you know he or she's going to appreciate. Some people, that's how they hear love. When you do something for me that I did not necessarily expect, man, it's that, I just feel that. That's really powerful to me. Do something outside of the norm. You know, I think a lot of you here are generally kind. You do things for each other that's normal. That's good. That is kind. But when you do something that's outside of the norm, that will kind of, adjust the situation a little bit, that makes your wife or your husband or your coworker or your roommate say, wow, why did they do that? That was really helpful. I feel important. I feel loved because of that. Maybe it's taking care of a job that the other person usually does, but you know they don't really like to do. So whenever you do something for another person beyond the normal course of events, that's kindness. That's the word that Paul describes here. And what it is saying is that I love you in action. Number 3 is gift giving. Just a simple act, but it packs great meaning by what it represents. Impromptu gift giving. So I'm not talking about for their birthday or Christmas. I'm talking about just an impromptu gift sends the message that I was thinking about you while we were apart. That's really meaningful. It doesn't have to be large. It doesn't have to be expensive. My dad did not travel a lot when I was young, but he was gone, every once in a while. And I remember that while he was away, he would almost always bring back something for us kids. Just a little trinket, not expensive at all. But I remember that. He was going to bring back something. And what it said was that, hey, while I was gone, I was thinking about you. Even when we were adults, my father still, we'd be living, he'd come someplace, he'd been traveling, and he brought back something that made him think about us, and he would give it to us. So to some people, gift giving is not a big deal. I mean, it doesn't mean that a lot, but to others, it is a very big deal. Number 4 is quality time. I always think this is best defined by what it's not. Quality time is not sitting on the couch reading the newspaper or looking at your phone, even though you're together. There is a benefit to this time. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. There is a benefit to just doing things together. But this specifically, this idea of quality time, is more than just kind of being in the same room. It's more than just communicating impersonal facts. It requires that you invest yourself in the other person by listening to them and responding to them. And then number 5 is physical touch and closeness. I love to watch football. I used to really love watching college basketball, and I don't know, I'm a little disillusioned now with college basketball. I watch a little bit of NBA, but I relax by watching a game. Faith, that's not really her thing. This happened just recently. I love it when she comes to where I'm at, watching TV, watching a game, with a book, and she sits down on the couch, or maybe even, just in a chair near me, and just is there present with me. I know that she'd rather the TV, actually her hearing, it affects her hearing, and it's not the most, I know that's not her most comfortable place. She'd rather be in another place in her house, reading, but when she does that for me, it says something to me each time. It says, hey, I want to be with you, even at a cost for me. When I'm outside working on something, or she's outside working on something, it's good for me to be there with her. It's good for her to be there with me, even if we might, in the process get in each other's way. There's something about saying, I want to be around you. I want to be with you.